Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, it's Miss Quids again. In this video I'm going to be reviewing the Bearables kit, and it says Sewable, Hackable, Wearable, Adorable by Pimeroni. Now Pimeroni is a Sheffield based company in the UK, and Oggcamp this year was actually held in Sheffield, so local company to the conference. And Quids has already talked about the mini drone that he won in the raffle, but I won something too, so I won this Bearable kit, and I'm going to be talking about it today. And just to note that this kit retails for about £12.50 in the UK. Okay, so I've just removed the plastic sleeve from the box, and probably best not to discard this as it contains all of the instructions. So let's have a look and see what we actually have in the kit. And first let's take note of the little thing here, Pirate brand plastic loot box. It's great for stuff. And inside we have and I believe, yeah, this container has the actual bear badge itself. So it's a bear badge with some LEDs around it, and a little motion sensor in the shape of an acorn. And not quite sure what's in here. Trying to think about what's in the kit. Needles for sewing. We have some conductive thread, and it's around this incredibly adorable little bear cardboard thing, little spool of conductive thread, and 2 sticker sheets. Yay! It has a little like box thing there, and a tree and acorns and flowers and stuff, and it's very adorable. So I already had a look online before I opened this, and I knew that it was going to come with the badge and the LED sensor. So the general idea is you can sew these to clothing or bags, but of course it's comes with conductive thread, which can be sharp and also just doesn't work well with water, so it recommends that you do it with something like a bag or something that you're not going to wash very often. So that's why we've got the thread to connect the badge to the motion sensor, so that when the motion sensor detects motion, then the LEDs can light up. But first I just want to show you what happens when we just use the badge on its own. Okay, so I've just taken the bear badge and the acorn motion sensor out of the packaging, and I must say I was even surprised to see how incredibly adorable this little acorn motion sensor is. Look at it, it's so small. I'm finding it difficult not to drop it right now because it's quite small. And we've got the little badge here, and there should be, well, there's a battery inside, and then we've got the pull tab to cause it all to work. And so let's try and get this working. Let's just have a look at the badge first. So if we just look at the instructions, although it should be quite self-explanatory, it's telling us to slide the coin battery into the battery holder on the back, which we don't need to do, it's already been done for us, so we can just pull the tab. And yes, upon pulling out the tab, which took some doing because it was a bit fiddly, it's lighting up with lots of pretty colours, so it might be a bit difficult to see with the lights on, so I'll just quickly turn the lights off. And here we have the very funky LED lights around it. So it says that we can press the button briefly to cycle through 12 light patterns. Okay, so I managed to find the button. The button is on the back, but you can just about see it here, right on the side. And so there are apparently 12 light patterns, and let's just briefly cycle through them. Oop. That's so cool. Ooh. Note also that it when you press the button it looks at a different light briefly, which is obviously numbering all the different patterns. Okay, that one's just going. Ooh. These are all quite funky. Ooh. Wow. There's no thing for how to turn it off, so... There, yeah, long press the button, it turns off, as I thought. And so now let's look at connecting this to the Acorn. I'll just turn the light back on. Now, just for the sake of this tutorial, I want to show how to connect this badge to the little Acorn sensor. So, going through the instructions, I'm going to basically ignore the stuff about sewing this to stuff, but you can sew the bear and the acorn to whatever you want, clothing, and then it can work together. But I just want to show how these two work together. So the first thing I've done is taken some of the conductive thread and, looking at these little loops on the back, tried to loop the thread through one of the little loops a few times and trying to keep it taut to make sure that it's all secure. So the next thing I want to do is connect this badge to the little acorn, and you'll notice that the badge tends to go off randomly when you start introducing the conductive thread. And now I've done the same thing for the little acorn sensor. So there are some hooks on the back of this too. And I've tried to loop the conductive thread through the little hooks on the back as best I can. So I've managed to get this working without actually connecting it to anything. So after you connect one piece of thread to one hook on the badge, you want to connect the other hook on the badge to the other hook on the sensor. So as I said, there are two hooks on both the back of the sensor and the back of the badge, and this would have probably been a lot easier if I decided what I wanted to sew it onto and actually sewn it together. Instead, it's a bit of a hack with the pieces of tape. And so now the badge is off and we've moved the sensor and the badge starts to light up. So yes, I think this would have been a lot easier if I decided to sew the sensor and the badge to something, but it does work. I mean, if you've seen my Moabuntu video, which was actually my first video a few months back, then you'll know that I like very cute things. So it was probably very apt that I happened to win this at the Oggcamp raffle. So thanks again, Oggcamp, for the prize. And yep, that was the review of the Bearables Bear Badge and Acorn motion sensor, and I'll see you all later.